Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to talk about communication in this game and how Nexon chooses to communicate with us, and kind of present some ideas on how we could improve it going forward, or at least just shed some light as to how other games do it, and to hopefully make people feel like, we don't have to put up with poor communication. Before we get too far, I'm going to just introduce myself. My name is Phantoms. I've been playing this game pretty much off and on since the beginning of Reboot. I've played many different classes of about 9,600 Legion. And my highest level, which is this character you're seeing, is my main on NA Kronos. It is 283. It is by no means endgame. It is definitely solidly in the realm of I have cleared normal Kalos. I could probably be clearing calling, but I like to learn the bosses myself and kind of teach myself the bosses, so I've not done or committed to that. I'll also probably be main swapping in Challenge World 3. Anyway, now with that out of the way, let's jump into it. So, as we move through this game and how it functions, one of the biggest pieces of frustration that we deal with is the communication. And the quote that I like to use, and the quote that I feel like is most avid, is it's not enough. And I think that the communication they give us is not enough, and how they communicate is also not enough. Think about how they release things. We'll typically get a patch preview that will be 2 weeks before the patch. We will get the patch notes about 12 hours before. And then we'll get the actual patch, which drops. The other thing that we'll sometimes get is we'll get an inkwell note that'll give us a timeline, or maybe some other things that they've been trying to figure out and plan around. Those inkwell notes typically come with gifts, which are nice, but even those rewards off those sometimes feel a little power crept, and sometimes can definitely feel not enough, but they are definitely appreciated. However, this method of how they're communicating with us in the short timelines is not conducive to a healthy game environment. It makes people kind of worry, and it makes people kind of panic leading into these patches. And because of that, it's something that we have to adapt to and adjust and try to figure out on the fly. One of the first games that comes to mind with communication is gonna kind of be a meme with the recent news about it, but it's actually Destiny 2. And yes, well, I do know they just recently announced that they will be ceasing updates, future updates for the game. Rest in peace, one of my favorite games of all time. They did also do a really good job of communicating with the player base through what I would like to call their TWAB, or their TWID, which stands for This Week at Bungie, or This Week in Destiny. What this was is it was a sort of highlight of things that they've been working on, updates that are coming up. It was new events that were coming out, events that were ending, just kind of highlighting what was going on, what they've been working on. And it also showed off some artwork that the community had done, or a video that a community member had done, and just kind of highlighted those things and shared them with people. They came out with this, I believe it was every week on Thursdays. I could be wrong about that. But basically what this provided was it provided a method for them to consistently have communication with their player base and consistently kind of reach out and say, hey, this is what we're working on. Hey, this is what we've been working on. And it created a good environment where it's like you could always rely on the Twitter, the TWAP coming out. You could always rely on getting some good information as to what's coming up. And if not, it would just highlight some events that they've got going on, or highlight events that are coming up, and even show you that there's people making good content about the game, or making really nice art about the game. And it was a good, conducive way to try to build content creation and try to build people to want to make those things. Now, how could Nexon take this idea and run with it? I think one of the easiest ways for them to do it is with the Maple Memo. I think the Maple Memo is criminally underused. It's a great way for them to create a series where they can have a quick interaction with the fan base. Even if it's just something like, hey guys, how's it going? we've got these events coming up. Remember that they're going on. You know, there's a flash sale on this week. Here's a really cool video we found that someone made. Here's some really cool artwork that someone made. Have a great week. It's a very quick and easy system that they could use where they could just have that quick interaction and try to regain and build that community with us. I think the other thing that they could do is they could also use it as a way to get feedback. You know, something where it's like, hey, you know, we pushed this update and clearly it was not enjoyed. Let's have people kind of reach back out and see what they didn't like about this. This would be a great way for them to kind of regain the trust of the community and try to, you know, mend this rift that's developed over time because we haven't had good communication and we feel like we have to be prepared for what's coming and not ready to look forward to what we're expecting from these updates. So I think something done in that style could be really neat. Another option, I think, let's look at another game that is very popular. Path of Exile is a very popular ARPG, and if you look at how they push their updates, it's similar, but also very different. What they will do is they will do their pre-league, which is their seasons, live stream, and that will show off everything that's coming in the new season. After this, they'll do a Q&A, and they'll answer a lot of questions from chat and from people who play the game. And then immediately after that, they drop all the patch notes, and that's 2 weeks ahead of every patch. This allows players the time to look through the patch notes, to see what's changing, to see what's adapting, and it gives people time to read it so they don't feel rushed. Then what they go and do is they get on their Twitter and social media and on their website, and those 2 weeks leading up to the update, they will post teasers, snippets. Hey, this is a cool new weapon that you can get in this new update. Hey, this is a cool new boss that's going to be in the update. Hey, this is something you might encounter while playing the game that's coming in brand new. And it builds this like hype, and I don't know how to describe it other than it gets people talking about it. Like, it becomes this thing of like, you know, you're seeing messages from people that you play with that are like, dude, did you see the teaser that came out today? Like, this is insane. It's going to change so much of how we play the game. Like, we could use this to get a ton of currency. And I really do think we could do something similar in that sense. For example, let's look at the most recent Inkwell note. And what are some of the things that Inkwell goes over? Okay, well, if we're scrolling from top to bottom, what is it? It's things like Arrow Light being released. It's things like Mystic Frontier Champions. It's new things like the new additions to the Star Forcing enhancement system. It's the increased frequency of Star Force events. It's additional improvements to equipment trace restorations. It's things like QOL and just little things like even like Soul Urda acquisition rates and new ways to do that, cash item transfer, improvements to miracle time frequency and the cycle of it. All of that stuff could be teasers, and all of that stuff they could just leak little bits here and there and just like post something, be like, hey, like, y'all are interested in Arrow Light? Well, like, you know, here's this burst. It's pretty cool, right? And like that would get people so excited to see, like, dude, the Arrow Light burst looks so cool. Or like be like, hey, like, you know how we said we were gonna have more cash transfers? Like, here's our time frame of how we're planning on doing it. Enjoy. And that would also get people super excited. So I think there's a way that they could do these sort of teasers and really get people excited about what's to come with the game and how to get people more excited on this stuff and build good hype and not just have people stressed and worried about it. So let's kind of go back and talk about, the main point that I'm trying to make is I feel like Nexon struggles to communicate with us. And if we look back at history, I think the main reason that they feel like they can't communicate with us is because of a broken trust. Or the main reason they feel like they can't provide us with these things is because of a broken trust. There's a couple events I can think of, and one has to do with Soul Urda rate, and another has to do with a level 300 event. and I'm not going to go too into detail. Everyone probably knows what I'm talking about, and I'm not trying to blame those people because I do think those were serious issues that were addressed in that. And I think that because they were addressed, the game changed for the better. I think that it was a good outcome that we got out of it. But unfortunately, the side effect that came for how it was done was there was a level of trust that the players had with Nexon that was really broken and shattered. And I think moving forward as a community and as like anyone who plays this game, we have to try to find ways that we can try to rebuild this trust with Nexon if we really want to see good improvements in this kind of stuff. I think one positive direction that we can look towards is the fact that we're getting a test server and a public test server, and that anyone can sign up for. That's not something that we've had ever, if you really think about it. The most recent thing that we had related to that was the Beam Brigade test server, but even then it was only Beam Brigade people that could test it. So now that we're going to have an openly public one, is kind of showing that those cracks and mends are healing. But until we as a player base can show Nexon that we are worthy of being trusted again, we are not going to see that same level of commitment from them or communication. So to wrap things up, I just want to say, I think as a community, we have, I guess, some obligation to kind of prove that we are willing to be and worthy of being trusted again. And that we should have that sort of relationship with a company like Nexon. I mean, if you think about it, a company that wants to communicate with its people that use its product and have that kind of conversation is a healthy relationship. I know it's such a weird word to use, but it's really what it is. It's a healthy relationship. And I guess what I want is I want to know what you guys think. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me if you think you agree with me. I want to provide a space where we can talk about these things civilly and come up with more solutions and be solution oriented rather than just complaining about issues. If you stay till the end, thanks very much. This is my first video. Just trying to kind of figure things out, and this was something that I kind of thought about at work today and just couldn't get off my mind, and left work and just kind of needed to throw something together to try to figure it out. So hopefully you enjoyed, and hope to see you guys again soon. Peace.